Coming to you live from the top secret broadcasting bunker here at Area 52. That's right on the backside of a dairy farm just outside of Norwood, Missouri. This is Pastor Mike, and I'm online, and I am live. And where is it here? What is this? What does this represent to you? Huh? What is that? That is, I have more news today than you can shake a stick at, all right? Actually, this is the leftovers of my lunch. There was some sort of meat hanging on the end of that's not a bone, some sort of meat hanging on there. We got it from a restaurant. Who knows what kind of meat it was. But anyway, good to be with you today. Good to have Pastor Reg Kelly staying with us here at our top secret broadcasting campground, I guess it could be. He's been staying here, came in yesterday afternoon. What a wonderful service we had with him last night. And just a good time of fellowship, breaking bread together in my office. And I think Bradley came by and took Reg out to lunch. Okay? Where was I? I just waved to him as they went off down the road. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, I hope they had a good time. And we had a great service last night. Looking forward to more good preaching today. I pulled up Drudge Report today, and I've been reading over some of your emails, and some of them I actually kind of did some investigating in. I've got something about Ed Young, Jr., that was really interesting to me. Not just some symbolisms, and I'm going to talk about that, but something that goes on in his church, and it goes on in a lot of churches now, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. Here's the first thing I had pulled up. This is on frontporchpolitics.com. First American arrested using guerrilla-like police tactics, a Predator drone. The lawyer for the first American to be arrested with the help of a Predator drone says that guerrilla-like police tactics were used to arrest his client. Rodney Rosart was arrested last June after a 16-hour standoff. We talked about this here a while back. Standoff with police in Lakota, North Dakota. The incident was over the ownership of 6 cows that had wandered onto Rosart's farm. He was going to keep the cows. He said, hey, they got on my land, so they're my cows. And Rosart was repeatedly tased after allegedly threatening to kill law enforcement officers who came onto his property. You know, they'll do that every time. If you threaten to kill police officers, they will threaten to kill you back. Okay? It's just common sense. I don't have a problem with law enforcement officers. They don't bother me, and I don't bother them. In fact, there is a local, I won't say which municipality it is, but there's a local police officer that comes by here every now and then, pulls his car down in here. At least he knows where the broadcasting compound is. And he's a good guy. He likes our videos, likes our stuff, has a lot of questions, and I pray for him all the time, pray that he'll be safe. Pray for police officers. A lot of these guys are just guys that just have an incredible, tough job to do. But as you and I both know, we are turning our nation more from a locally controlled, let's say a deputy or a county sheriff who has a lot of authority, more than what people give him, to enforce the laws of a particular county. We're going from local enforcement. And I would say that's even in the public school system. Public school systems were fine as long as a local community governed the public school. But here's what happened. The liberals and the do-gooders and the socialists and the people with an agenda and the homosexuals and everything like that, they decided that it's not good that all the schools be locally controlled. It's not good that all the counties be locally governed. So let's get federal involvement in it. The federal government, according to the Constitution, still cannot tell a local school district you can or cannot do this unless you receive federal funding. And what school district will turn down federal funding, especially when all the teachers in that school district are part of the teachers union that's saying you need more money? That's how it works. See, what is the root of all evil? It's the love of money. And so the local sheriff's departments are seeking federal funds, more money, more money. The federales get involved and say, okay, you want more money? Here, you're going to have to give us something. Give us control. And so where are all these drones coming from? Where's the funding for these drones coming from? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? These little, in some cases, they're about this big. And they have the ability to fly over high altitudes, have very, very sharp cameras on them, find out exactly what's going on. And the first case is being, the guy's already got a lawyer, and I don't know the status of the case, but we'll keep our eye on that. And then I pulled this article up. Family Battle offers look inside lavish TV ministry. Out of Newport Beach, California, for 39 years, the Trinity Broadcasting Network, which, just out of fairness, the Trinity Broadcasting Network actually does not have anything to do with the real Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Just thought I'd throw that in there as a disclaimer. Has urged viewers to give generously and reap the Lord's bounty in return. Okay? They're going to hit you up for money and then promise you that God will pay you back like 7 times. Okay? Never works. But that's what they say. Somebody, and we were walking out of our congregation last night, walking out of the church, and one of our newest members said, you know what, in the church that she used to go to, and they've got billboards all over the St. Louis area. Everybody's come to the new hip-hop coffee shop church that they go to. She said where we came from, she said that they'd have big TV screens all up in front of the church, and the pastor would play video clips of people like sitting, they're being videotaped in their home, and they're sitting there and they're saying, you know, boy, we were destitute and we were really hurting financially and we just didn't have anything. And we watched Pastor so-and-so's message and we decided that we would sow a seed into his ministry, and we borrowed money and just gave it to him. And all of a sudden money started coming into us and we were paying our bills, and look at this new car we have and this, that, and the other. And I told her, you were sitting in on a setup. They were set. You know why they played that testimony? Is so that would encourage everybody sitting there. Anybody else may be involved in that ministry. I don't know if they have a TV ministry or what. That encourages everybody to fork over the cash, because they want to make it sound like that if you do this, if you drop change into the, actually they don't want your coins. Okay? They want your debit card or your checking account or whatever. They want access to it. The more they want you to throw money at them with the promise now that God is going to return to you sevenfold. He's going to double this thing. It's going to triple it. You might even get 100-fold, like according to the book of Mark, chapter 4. You might actually have more money than God one of these days. That's what they promise these people. Now, I believe in giving. I believe in tithing. I don't hammer tithing. I don't hammer giving out of responsibility to the idea that I think that if God lays it on your heart to give, you'll give. But I teach it as a biblical principle, and I'll tell you this. If you ever, and I want everybody to listen to this, if you ever drop a dime in the offering plate, or you send in money, whether it's to this church or any other church, with the hope and the expectation that you are going to get something back out of it in return, that is not a gift. It is not a free will offering, and you don't love God. Let me tell you who you love. You love yourself. You see, pure love, pure biblical love is giving without any expectation of return. How do I know that? Let me give you scripture. For God so loved, there's that word, and the Bible's going to define it. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, notice the whosoever part, God gave his Son freely to mankind without any guarantee of benefit to him whatsoever. He was not giving his Son so that you would turn around and give something back to God. That's not how it works, and that's not real love. You know what that is? That's harlot love. Harlots do what they do for money. They do whatever they do. They'll give you love in return for what? In return for money. Secret Service agents found that out. That's what got them in trouble. When they didn't fork over the money, that's when they all got in trouble. Okay? That is harlot love. Pure love from God is, God gave his Son to who? To whosoever. He gave him to the entire world. Now, is the entire world turning themselves back to God and saying, okay, God gave us this, so we'll give back? No, most people that have ever lived in human history are going to reject God's gift. But God offers it anyway. You know why? Because He loved. And so when you give a gift, like to a church or a ministry, a mission or something like that, and if you give that in expectation that God is going to render something back to you as a result of that, I have some advice to you. Reach in and take it back out and hang on to it. God doesn't want it. It's not a payment for services rendered either. It's a free gift. Now back to the news story. The prosperity gospel preached by Paul and Jan Crouch, who built a single station, the world's largest Christian television network, has worked out well for them. Mr. and Mrs. Crouch have his and her mansions. That kind of makes sense. Have you seen this lady? I would not live in the same house as this woman. And apparently she wouldn't live in the same house either with all the company he gets, if you know what I mean. Mr. and Mrs. Crouch have his or her mansions 1 street apart in a gated community here provided by the network using viewer donations and tax-free earnings. But Mrs. Crouch, who is 74, rarely sleeps in the $5.6 million house with tennis court and pool. She mostly lives in a large company house near Orlando, Florida, where she runs a side business called the Holy Land Experience theme park. Mr. Crouch, 78, has an adjacent home there, too, but rarely visits. Its occupant is often a security guard who doubles as Mrs. Crouch's chauffeur. The twin sets of luxury homes only hint at the high living enjoyed by the Crouches, inspirational television personalities whose multitudes of station and satellite signals reach millions of worshipers across the globe. Almost since they started in the 1970s, the couple have been criticized for secrecy about their use of donations, which totaled $93 million in 2010. Now after I remembered something. Pastor Kelly, I heard him talking one time, and somebody asked his dad, Mr. Kelly, he said, oh, there are dairy farmers down in Norwood. He said, Mr. Kelly, what would you do if you had $1 million? He said, I'd farm with it till it was all gone. $93 million. Now, after an upheaval with Shakespearean echoes, one son in this first family of televangelism has ousted the other to become the heir apparent. A granddaughter who was in charge of TBN's finances has gone public with the most detailed allegations of financial improprieties yet, which TBN has denied. What are they going to admit to it? Saying its practices were audited and legal. That doesn't mean they were right. Keep that in mind.